we tend to find comfort in the old world when the uncertainty of the new world scares the pants off of us.
Then you get older and hopefully you get humbled enough to where you kind of realize, okay, I'm not immortal. I'm not invincible. And life can smack me down quick if I don't stay humble.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1725, one important thing for any level of success. Today, for episode number 1726, happy Friday. It is Freestyle Friday, and I actually have a thought process. I already shared it with Alan. It's a thought process. I don't have it all fleshed out. I don't know where it's going to go, but I've been having a lot of... Taryn got home from work last night, and she said, How you doing? How was your day? And I said, I don't know. It kind of sucked. And she said, why? And I said, I'm just sad. I'm just sad today. I don't know. I feel like my self-worth is taking a little bit of a hit lately. And she said, why? What's going on? And I just said, I've been taking a lot of L's. I lost some clients and just stuff. Stuff's been... When you're up and everything's crushing, it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, well, why are you so happy? It's like, well, everything's awesome. And that's not necessarily logical. That's relatively emotional. Things are going to come down. But when you're coming down and things seem like everything's terrible, naturally you're not going to feel so good, right? So that was kind of what I talked to her about. And I was thinking today, the journey to whatever your unique version of success is super challenging because of two words, and two simple words that are way more connected than I think anybody ever tells you. Opportunities and fears. It could be opportunities and fears. It could be opportunities and triggers. It could be opportunities and insecurities. Opportunities, let's just say positive thing and the negative thing that comes with that. And here's a really good example. Okay, you start a podcast and you think to yourself, oh my goodness, I one day would love to do this for a living. Awesome. Eventually you get that opportunity. Well, in order to do this for a living, I'm going to have to leave my job. Cool. Opportunity is there. You face the fear. Okay. Then you get another opportunity to interview somebody who you look up to. Awesome. Then the day before the interview, you're peeing your pants because you're scared of what's going to happen. Then that person invites you to go speak on stage. Opportunity you would have killed for. Then you have to face the fear that you haven't faced yet. This is coming up for me with the Evan thing. And again, I don't want to overly talk about it and beat a dead horse, as they say. I don't really know why they say that, why that's a saying, but it is a saying. So my apologies for using
Every now
that
and
one.
then you'll have these moments live where you say something and then you realize, I have no idea if that's even a line to say.
Yeah, it's like,
and you never thought about it.
I don't know if I've ever said that before. So it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's it. I'll use a different one next time.
What came in your mind? Just someone like kicking?
Yes.
Like a dead
Yeah.
horse?
It's like, but why is that?
Why would that be a saying at all?
I'll make a new one up. Like, I don't know. I'll make one up. But I had a moment last night where my flights are booked. So I'm flying to Toronto. My rental car's done. The Airbnb's done.
When are you going, by the way? I honestly don't even know. Tomorrow?
No. 2 weeks.
Okay.
No, 3 weeks. Next Level Hope Foundation is on Sunday. You and I record Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have to get all our episodes done. Tuesday, I fly out to Toronto. I'm there Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Saturday, I fly home.
Oh, God.
So we're going to have to do all of our episodes that Monday. We can't miss. Because I am genuinely going to be unavailable.
Right after the Sunday of Next Level Hope Foundation?
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. And then I'm going to be traveling. So it's going to be a rough week. But I had a moment last night where I was thinking, you know what's so weird about this? I messaged Evan 3 months ago. And I said, hey, Ev, long time no talk. I hope you're doing well. Question for you, man. How do we get more speeches? And he said, you send 100 times more messages than you're sending right now. It's like, yeah, okay.
Nice.
That's the Evan Carmichael answer. Yeah, it is. That's the Evan Carmichael answer. 100%.
Love it.
Then, not 2 months later.
What's 100 times 0?
100. No, 0. I'm sorry. 0. 100 times 1 is
perfect. We're doing
100.
Exactly what he asked.
Yeah. It doesn't work if you're multiplying by 0. Then not 2 months later, he reaches out and says, hey, I'm having a mastermind. I'd love for you to come speak on this. Opportunity. When I asked, I wasn't looking for him to like bring me anywhere. It was like, do you have any advice? You've spoken on really big stages. So the opportunity to go speak there is now, I'm telling you, at the beginning of this, quite literally, this is a dream come true. And you know that, right? Mm-hmm. This is quite literally, for me, a dream come true. There's also a massive part of me that doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I told you this yesterday. You said, how often do you like do things that you're scared to do? I said, every time, pretty much. I don't want to go to Toronto. I don't want, you know how much easier it would be just for me not to go? It would be awesome.
Yeah.
But I would regret it. Yep. Because I'm leaving all that opportunity. You know how many of those I've had over the last 7 years? Now at least I understand, oh, you're afraid? Cool, do it anyway. It's not that simple, though. Again, there's bumper sticker self-improvement, and then there's real self-improvement. There's bumper sticker awareness, and then there's real awareness. There's bumper sticker courage, and then there's real courage. This is like the real courage of you having an opportunity. Let's say you go on a dating app, and you say, I'd really love to meet someone awesome. And then you meet someone awesome. And then you have that moment where you're getting ready for the date that night, and you're freaking out. Well, what if it's not right? What if it's weird? What if I make a dumb joke? What if I'm late? Whatever. That life is a series of opportunities and overcoming the fears necessary to actually capture the opportunity that we once wanted. I'm convinced that's one of the reasons that a lot of people end up stuck, because you might get an opportunity you want, and then you might not follow through. Last thing before we go. I was in Alan's going to laugh at this. Do not judge him, because this is just the way it goes when I tell stories like this. He's not laughing at me. He's laughing at my lack of, I don't know what it was. Just
I don't think I would laugh if you didn't make it out of it. And I think who you've become and what you've become through all of it, it might as well be in a comedy movie. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe one day it will be. Maybe one day it will be, right? Like Mark Wahlberg's going to be too old to play me. So we'll have to figure out who it'll be. Maybe I'll play myself. Who knows? Okay. I was in a relationship. My partner at the time was emotionally cheating on me, for lack of better phrase, with someone through text message. I found the text messages, and I was like, yo, what is this? And we had an argument, and I was like, I'm leaving. I'm done with this. This is it. And this person said...
Talking big talk there.
I was talking big talk. This person said, oh, yeah, okay. You leave, you get in your car and you leave, and it's done. And I said, I know that. I just said that. That's what I'm doing. I'm leaving. That's what I'm doing. You're just telling me what I'm doing. I'm leaving. I know how it works. I know how to get in my car and leave. I'm leaving. Shut the door. Probably, I don't think I slammed it, but I probably shut it with strength. Walk up to my car, open the door, sit down in the seat. I don't know. Really want to blow this up over this thing? If I leave, it's over, right? So I tucked my tail between my legs, and I walked back down and went back into the house.
What went through your mind in that moment? Don't know if I can get anyone better. I'm going to have to be alone. Right? All the fears creep up.
Yeah, but the opportunity was I kind of did want out of this relationship. Yeah. I had the opportunity, and then all of those fears. Just like when you leave a job that's not aligned.
Yeah, what happens? You're so pumped at first. There's a huge weight lifted off your shoulder.
Was it really that?
Was it
really that bad?
Yeah.
Kev, you were sitting on the edge of a bed contemplating suicide. Like, I don't think you should go back. I think it was that bad, honestly.
Yeah, it was definitely that bad.
We tend to find comfort in the old world when the uncertainty of the new world scares the pants off of us.
Mm-hmm.
And that is exactly what this episode is in a nutshell.
So, Emilia and I went for a hike. I went fishing for the first time in a long time. It was awesome.
Ponytail was swanging, just out in nature,
I got the man bun going.
Yeah.
Yeah, rocking the man bun. Emilia says only a real man can have a man bun. Especially, real talk, I think sometimes I could be mistaken for a female. So, I just got to be very secure in myself, because
it is what it is.
I remember for Halloween once, I went to a corporate event as Axl Rose. He has he's the Guns N' Roses main singer, and we dressed up as the whole band, and I had the the long Axl Rose hair. And one of my colleagues said, you would be a pretty hot girl.
Very thoughtful of them.
I was like, I'm not sure how to take that, sir.
Very thoughtful.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so what was I talking about? Oh, I went fishing.
Yes.
And Emilia and I have these quarries in the back of our condo complex. Beautiful. And I've always wanted to fish there. I never did. And as if I've been here for 30 years. It's only been a year and a half, 2 years. And so I brought my fishing pole this time, and I fished, and we caught one. It was awesome. But there's this one section that is kind of like a mini lookout rock, and it's very high up. It's, again, very high up. It's probably a couple 100 feet. Not that big a deal. But we wanted to take a photo. And I said, oh, go take a photo. It's beautiful. And she's like, and she's over there, and she's kind of scared. And I'm sitting there in my mind going, I'm not going to be scared at all. This is going to be fine. I take the photo. I said, honestly, you're good. You're still far away. We're good. And I was sweet about it. And then I get over there. Dude, not even a little bit not scared.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the deal is with that because it's so irrational, right? I'm not even that close to the edge. This is like embarrassing with this.
No, it's a human thing. That's a human thing.
Some people don't have that, or they overcome it through exposure therapy.
Maybe
These
that.
rock climbers and stuff, man.
Yeah.
I'm scared for them when I watch their stuff. But I think that's kind of my point is.
Next Level Nation, what is happening? If you've thought to yourself, I want to try coaching, but you don't really know where to start, group coaching would be a wonderful place for you. That's really why we created it in the first place. We start a new round every 90 days. So if you're hearing this, go to the website, nextleveluniverse.com, and we have the landing page where you can actually hold your spot right now. Even if there's a group going on right now, you can still lock your spot for the next one. The biggest thing that we've seen is as we get closer and closer to the date, unfortunately, some people end up missing. The group fills up and they can't do it, and then they end up regretting that. So please head over to the website. The link will be in the show notes, and we would love to see you there.
I think when you're a kid, you're kind of scared of everything, but you pretend you aren't. I think this is the journey, and again, I'm paraphrasing, so paraphrasing isn't the right word. I'm being overly what? Generalizing. There it is. Generalizing.
Yeah.
Okay. You're born, and you're scared of everything because you don't know anything, and you're a little baby, and you're completely dependent, right? Then you become a little kid, and little kids don't have big egos or big protectors, and they aren't worried about their status or how they look, so they're just afraid of everything. I remember we used to be afraid of coyotes and that kind of stuff, and you're not machoing up yet because you just are a kid. No one expects you to be fearless as a child.
Right.
Quote unquote fearless, by the way, because no one's actually fearless. And then you get into high school, and then it becomes really cool to be reckless, like we talked about in the last episode, and to pretend you're not afraid of anything. When in reality, you actually are. You're just egoing up to compensate for your deep insecurities and inadequacies. Then you get older, and hopefully you get humbled enough to where you kind of realize, okay, I'm not immortal. I'm not invincible. And life can smack me down quick if I don't stay humble. And so, but then you can't let fear stop you from taking the photo in this metaphor. So I went over there and I got a photo, and I was pretty far from the ledge, but it was still scary. And I think there's two ways to approach that. One is to macho up and pretend you're not scared in front of your girlfriend, because that's what girls really want, quote unquote. No, they don't. Or you can just be honest and be yourself. So I was honest and I was myself. But one of the reasons why I'm talking about this is because over time, when you do exposure therapy, and a lot of therapists recommend exposure therapy, because what does that mean? If you start with a little rock wall, then you do a bigger rock wall, then you do a bigger rock wall, eventually it becomes normal to climb rock walls. And then we see these people on YouTube that are doing things that are beyond the fathomability of what we would even consider doing. But then again, in front of 1,000 people, speaking in front of 1,000 people is unfathomable to some people too. But we didn't start in front of 1,000 people. First it was 30, then it was 50, then it was 60, then it was 300, whatever. So it's a ladder that you climb.
Right.
One of the things that I'm working on a lot in my personal growth right now, we've all heard that there is no growth in the comfort zone. Nothing grows in your comfort zone. I believe that's true. One of the things that I've been working on a lot is, I said this to a client recently. I said 95% of your success is going to come down to courage. Most of success is just courage.
Yeah.
Why do I say that? Because most opportunities are on the other side of the things that you're too scared to do, and or the things that are painful. So if I were to really boil success down to only 3 things, number 1 would be self-belief and improvement. Self-belief and improvement. Number 2 would be grit, meaning you're willing to do painful things, emotionally painful, mentally painful, physically painful, spiritually painful at times. And then number 3 would be just courage. And which I guess I would couple with humility, because if you don't have humility, you'll pretend you're not scared, then you won't need courage. So I don't mean to complexify this, but I would say 90% of success is probably just courage, which is you have an opportunity in front of you every single day to do something that scares you. And I had a client who was interested in someone, and she was on vacation, and she said, I'm so scared to talk to this person. And in my head, I had this moment. I said, what would I do? She's like, you would just go up and talk to her and tell her she looks beautiful. And I said, okay, what's the difference between me and you? She said, you're not scared. And I said, that's not true. I'm not as scared. And the reason I'm not as scared is because I've been facing fears. I've been forced to face fears to achieve my goals, by the way. This doesn't make me special. I'm not fearless by any means. That's why I talk about heights, because I am freaked out, seriously. And I haven't exposed myself to enough heights to where I'm not scared yet. But so I've been facing fears ever since I was a kid because I had to achieve my goals. So I'm less fearful of that than she is. I said, the truth of the matter is, you never know what could happen, but, and you've said this in the past, Kev, fear chasing. Even if you get made fun of, I said, what's the worst case scenario? This is called fear setting. What's the worst case scenario? She said, worst case scenario, she says, thank you, I'm not interested. That's the worst thing that could happen. So what's the best case scenario? She says, you look beautiful. And the best case scenario, by the way, ended up happening. She said, yeah, everyone here thinks you're gorgeous. And she talked about how all her colleagues have been talking about her too. So it went super well. Yeah. It changed her whole identity to some extent, right? But if she never, it's the confidence conundrum that I'll let you talk about, Kev. You don't get feedback. You don't face the fear. Therefore, you don't get feedback. Therefore, you stay more afraid and more uncertain. You don't ever get out of that metaphorical box that you're scared of. And so what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of success? Are you afraid of failure? Are you afraid to look bad? Are you afraid to be embarrassed? Are you afraid to be broke? Whatever the fear is, you have to identify it, and then you have to go to work on it.
I don't know if the fear is ever really going to go all the way away.
Agreed.
Right? If I'm, going on a podcast later, I'm not going to be afraid because I've done so many podcasts. But if it was a massive podcast, I would be, for sure.
So what if you are afraid? It's just a smaller percentage.
I don't think I mean, maybe.
But it's so small you might not even notice it in comparison to the Evan thing, right? Fair. So if Evan is 0 to 10, how fearful are you of the Evan travel, speech, all of it?
Don't worry about the travel. Probably like an 8.
Okay. So this other podcast you're going on later, 0 to 10?
0.25.
Okay. At the beginning, what would it have been?
It's 10.
Nice. That's all it is.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
Time.
The perception of the Evan thing is
That's
you really
true,
can't screw this up because you're being counted on.
Yeah.
And that's the weird thing about success too, and I want to let you talk in a second.
We do.
But the weird thing about success is when you become more successful. 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh no. When you become more successful, people expect more of you.
Yeah.
And so Evan's expecting more of you. And so if you are afraid to let him down, the more the expectations get bigger, the more you're going to be afraid. It doesn't actually make it better. It makes it worse because it's like playing in the major leagues versus the minor leagues.
Well, I'm also expecting more of myself. If anything, I'm probably expecting more of myself than he's expecting of me.
Yeah, fair.
I'm willing to bet that. And I think I always am. So that's when it's like new opportunity. I don't know what level of, like I'm going to create a presentation from scratch and talk about something I've never talked about. Really, I've never done a presentation on what I'm going to talk about. It's like, okay, how's that going to go? But I've done that before. I've done that. How many times have I done that before? Every time I did a presentation for the first time, you and I created a presentation, or I did it on my own if I was by myself, and then we talked about it. Every time you do something new, you're doing it for the first time. It's just something more scary about it.
How scared are you for this compared to the very first speech we gave at Confident Women's Consortium 7 years ago?
I was way more scared of that.
Okay. So
Yeah,
it does get better, but it kind of doesn't. It's this weird thing. What would you say to someone who, when I say that the world's biggest lie is success makes life easier, I don't think that lands because it doesn't explain anything.
Yeah, it's fair.
What would you say about that now?
One of the reasons success is so challenging is because it's going to present you opportunities that you have longed for, but you don't think you're ready for yet. And then when you do them, it hopefully will go better than you expect, but then you're going to get another opportunity that you're not really ready for yet. And if you want to continue succeeding, you have to keep doing that forever. So if you want to keep succeeding to whatever your level is, you have to keep doing that until you ultimately get there. But yeah, it's that. Opportunities are great. Opportunities can also be triggering when it comes to your insecurities, your fears, your incompetencies, whatever. That's what I would say.
And I think that's why a lot of successful people have egos, because they had to develop protectors and egos in order to get through the punches in the face along the way.
Yeah,
and I think that might have been one of the reasons I had an ego too back in the day.
It would make sense. All right, we got to hop. Next Level Nation, if you are in the Worcester, Mass area and you want to attend our Next Level Hope Foundation event, I believe it is 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time it's actually going to be on Father's Day now.
2 to 5.
2 to 5 is what it is.
2 to 5. Yeah, so we set up at 1 and then
okay.
2 to 5.
So 2 to 5, Worcester YMCA on Father's Day. There was a little miscommunication. So we'll have that. Next Level Nation, we'll have the link in the show notes. We don't know what we're doing for tomorrow's episode because we're out here doing our thing. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We'll talk to you all tomorrow.
Live with courage. Next Level Nation.